What is up, guys? So I've been out missing for the last 2 weeks. I've been on vacation, but I would not miss the drop of ALT No Requiem. And tonight it dropped. And me and my lovely girlfriend Kay over here, we just read it.
Hey.
And I guess we're going to talk about it. We just finished. So I guess the three things that are most important is, why should you read this if you're a fan of Attack on Titan? No, it's fan fiction. One is, do I think it's good? And two, do I like it? And Kay will give her own answers for that as well. Kay, I will let you start.
All right.
So, what do you think? First impressions of reading through ALT No Requiem Part 1.
I really enjoy it. There are, only a few things that I'm looking for. Is it satisfying? Do I feel like it fits the characters? And does it feel special? And to me, I just had such a huge grin on my face as I was reading this. I think a lot of the art direction is incredibly on point. I think the dialogue is fantastic. I think these moments with young Eren and older Eren are really well done. I really like where part 1 leaves off. That's just a great cliffhanger to what we are hoping is going to be, as they say, the Kino ending. So what did you think?
Well, I think the art was good. Everything is hand-drawn. Like, this is entirely fan-made. Everything is new. I think the art is really, 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 really well done. It's what's probably going to make it stand out compared to other fan endings that people have made. As for the chapter itself, I think it's a really great alley-oop for what, the story, the Kino, like you said, the Kino ending we're approaching. I do think that there was a lot of exposition, though. I think there was a lot. So, I didn't like the original 137. I didn't like the original 138, and I hated 139.
And you walked me into this because I've not been paying as much attention to with what was going on with the fan-made stuff as you have, of course. But you let me know that this is a replacement of just 137.
Yeah,
correct?
So it can continues after 136. And you can see, the conversation with Armin and Zeke. And now it's paralleled with older Eren and younger Eren. But I just think there's just a lot of exposition. When I like storytelling, I'm always more of a show, not tell. And there's just a lot of explaining. And I mean, that's essentially what 137 was too, right?
I was gonna say,
it was Zeke explaining to Armin.
Do you feel like they are certainly trapped by the confines of the chapter?
It's hard. It's because the thing is, I don't think the story... I think it was really rushed ending to begin with. Because you know how long the Rumbling arc was set up, right? To begin with. So I thought the original ending was really rushed, especially once you add those new volume pages. It goes 80 years into the future or 100 years, whatever. So it's a difficult position to include all the themes and things coming up. So like I said, I think it's a great alley-oop to continue forward, to go towards the ANR ending, that Akatsuki no Requiem. But what I'm not saying is the Akatsuki no Requiem, I still thought it was possible with the original 137,
sure,
138, right?
Absolutely. I guess for me, if as you say, a lot of exposition, I guess I will say that this is exactly what I want to see when we talk about exposition. This is the sort of back and forth explanation, talking about Ymir, kind of Zeke leading the conversation. You see the back and forth between younger and older Eren. If it has to be exposition, this is. I mean, at least you don't have. I love it.
At least you don't have Armin talk no jutsuing Zeke. But I mean, we don't know which way that's going to go, right? Because it still ends with all of them in paths together, and it has Eren confronting Armin, which I think was needed, not in the way it happened in 139. I think basically Eren's, his ideology, his goals, needed to confront Armin, needed to confront Zeke. And it looks like it's set up for it to be in part 2.
Yeah, I think going in, you're correct about, obviously, this being a setup chapter. I'm of the opinion that it is a little bit necessary. They're setting their own setup, if you will. and they are doing it their way, and I can't get over these last 2 pages.
I mean, it's a cool page.
It's so good. Eren, I'm prepared to sacrifice the world until all my enemies are destroyed.
So we have older Eren talking to younger Eren. When is that happening? Is it's happening at the same time, or is it happening before? Because he says he'll forget all of it.
I'm of the assumption that they are all sort of in there together, correct?
Yeah, but they're not interacting with each other until the end, right? Like, if you see the panels, it only happens at the end, the last few panels.
Well, older Eren, yeah, he has to pivot to basically direct himself to his father, and then in the last, you see them all younger, older, plus Armin
and Zeke all there.
Yeah, so I think it's just a sort of, it's like The Void. It's a compilation of all the timelines and all of the parallels.
Man, they shouldn't have ran into time travel or anything in Attack on Titan.
In the actual.
That's just the Sayama adding that. The time travel is just never done right unless you plan to do it from the beginning.
It's definitely tough to pull off, especially for people who really like time travel.
So let's talk about what the chapter tried to do. I think, it tried to set up Ymir, explain to Ymir a little bit more in advance than the I don't know anything about Ymir that happened in the final chapter. They showed her that she wanted freedom, not that whole Stockholm syndrome with King Fritz. Like I said, it's, to me, it's just the best way to describe my feelings. It's an alley-oop chapter. It sows the seeds, it plants everything to blossom into the future. It's I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if I necessarily like omnipotent Eren though. Like the older Eren right here, who like apparently has seen the future. Now he knows everything that's going to go down. Does that kill tension for you a little bit, or no? I mean, technically the series is over. It's fan fiction, right? I mean, it's
no, because it's what
because he has the founder eyes. Look.
Yeah, well, it's what I think I'm looking for. I'm looking for that Eren who was introduced to us moving forward, who has basically seen everything before and everything yet to come. And so I think look where
the chapter begins.
Right.
You see, it's him when he basically wakes up at the start of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And when older Eren finishes talking to younger Eren, he says, when you wake up, it'll feel like a long dream, but not what you felt. So it's looking like it's connecting, like the fanfiction ending is connecting that Eren felt everything he just got, the exposition he just got, right. He felt it. And then when he woke up, the beginning of the story, that's what drove him forward.
Yes. And he wakes up crying.
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't bother me because I think that's what I'm looking for in Eren's character at this point. I want the protagonist at this point in the story, I want him to be in full control of the direction that the story is heading.
But which one's the real protagonist? Is it this older Eren or is this the younger Eren?
Fair.
So to me, like, dude, it gets trippy. And like I said, I mean, that Attack on Titan was already trippy. It's, it's not the fan fiction ending that's making it trippy, right? It took it a different direction than the original.
This art slaps.
I mean, the art. If there's
so
anything,
good.
The art. If anything, you got to take away from this chapter is the art is amazing. If these artists and writers wanted to come together and make their own story,
absolutely.
I mean, they already, the whole ALT No Requiem has like 12,000, 13,000 followers on Twitter already, right? And it's going to grow more with the additional parts.
I hope that
they could like form an actual team to actually make their own stories.
Once they complete, the parts, I hope that, I hope, I don't even need to see, well, I want to see, but I'm already confident in the direction that they're taking this for me personally. And then I am so open to seeing wherever they go next as a team if they decide to do that.
Yeah, no, you're a big fan of the indie comics, right?
I am.
So you hear that, ALT No Requiem team? You guys
you have a fan in me.
You can branch out, go forward after Attack on Titan No Requiem itself. So it's, like I said, art is great. It's a great setup chapter, especially if you know what ANR is, right? how it's going to go. And it sets it up right here where Eren says, what does he say? I am prepared to sacrifice the world. So you have him reaffirm his convictions. To me, like it's hard. Like I wish, if anything, I wish you just wrote the entire story. Like there's Project Usurper who's redoing the entire Rumbling arc, right?
Okay.
And that's a massive undertaking. That's not just just changing the ending. They're trying to change the whole thing. And props to them, but that is a hard project to undertake. But it's hard because Isayama just took away Eren's POV, and that is just the worst. Like even creating your own fan ending and removing Eren's POV, but then you have to like insert it. Like here, right? We have Eren's POV in this fan-made AOT no Requiem. But when's the last time we saw Eren's POV before that? Right? It's a bit it's
indefensible to remove Eren's point of view and be given what we got. If the author, the writer wants to hide the protagonist's point of view, you just have to bring it together at the end. And obviously, neither of us, and obviously a lot of your viewers, felt like it was not satisfying. It was not a resolution. So I think he did drop the ball in that scenario. So for me, I'll reiterate that I like that we do see some older Eren point of view here, and we do see some action, we see some agency, and to me, that's what I love. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and that's my one requirement, really. No,
that's all. I'm looking forward to part 2, or if there's a part 3, because that's called. Is this supposed to kind of replace 137? Because at the end of 137, I'm pretty sure Armin got out and already did his nuke. So
I believe so. Too. I
guess it's going to be like a less of a wind down thing. Like, ANR, unless they do the full Eren suffering at the end afterwards.
Just to call out, the page with the freedom, younger Eren, older Eren, well done. I did not expect that.
The art is amazing. Everything is gorgeous. They storyboarded this really well. They intertwined Ymir back into it, and tied her in with the evolution. And
I like you said, when this is supposed to be, he's saying to younger Eren, you won't remember, but you remember how you felt.
Yeah, it sets up. I think it sets up the dream better. They never really.
I think it's great. Yeah,
they didn't reference that. They kind of referenced it back when like Mikasa had the said the same thing to Eren, like reverse in 138, but.
I love the tie-in.
Yeah, it was Eren. Basically makes it so Eren set his own destiny forward. Before, it was like he was kind of Ymir's slave. Now this time it's older Eren influencing, past Eren. But something that's better.
I love the fact here, too, that you have younger Eren trusting older Eren. Basically turning to him and saying, okay, I've heard everything. Are we all free now? And it switches to older Eren's face, his anger, his back, and he says, "Not yet." And to me,
this whole thing is cool. He even said, what does he say? He says, "And their paths built on their plans that I reject, leaving only one." It's like it's setting up. It's super cool.
So maybe we can divide the chapter a little bit between the exposition.
I still think it's a lot of exposition.
Sure. But I
hate the Pat stuff, man. Like, Pat's, dude, all of it is BS. And I'm telling you, it's not the it's not AOT no Requiem.
Right.
It's just the concept of, like...
It's the constraints of the world.
It's entirely almost meant to be just for exposition. And, and the whole thing is just...
Which is such a weird way to slow down your own manga in a... what is essentially, an action-adventure manga.
Remember where you started, right? It was like the survival, tragedy, behind humanity, behind the walls. And then now you have, like, destiny, time travel, shenanigans, alternate world, a place free from death. Like, it's
one of those subversions of expectations that I think did not land very well.
It makes it... I don't know. To me, just... So I like like I said, I still like the setup here, because he rejects all the other paths. You just remember how I feel. So Eren isn't influenced by like what he saw earlier, but instead he just has the desire for freedom. Because what did the what did the ending have? It basically, his dad talked to him about, Eren, you're free. They had that panel when he was born, even though he really wasn't free because he was behind the walls. And even behind the walls, there'd be more discrimination. I know you like it, dude. I mean, the art is sick. Like,
I think that considering the work that they have to do to set themselves in place, the team, I think this is a great part one. I think it's fun. I think it's what I wanted, and I'm sure that, you know, people are looking for little bits of different things in these fan made projects. But I'm here for it. I think
I might need to read the story, and then when I get to 137,
swap it out.
Swap it out when it happens. Because I don't know.
I think you might be satisfied.
I feel like a lot of my emotional investment is gone from the story, so that's why I'm reading this, and I'm just you know, it's hard to get back into it. So maybe, you know, if I'm following these parts along
after everything that's come out, it's.
You know,
I admire everybody that has
persisted in the last 2 months,
held on, kept up their interest in Attack on Titan in general. You know, it's very easy to move on.
I'm telling you, that's how my emotion. So hopefully, part one, like I said, it's alley-oop. Maybe this is the start of my emotion invest. Maybe I'll go back, read the stuff beforehand to get myself into it, because I guess maybe I just don't remember 136. It's been a while since I read it. And I'm like, why is older Eren here? Because he's been younger Eren through the whole Rumbling arc, right?
Yeah, maybe, you know, as, like I said at the start, as somebody just jumping into seeing what they posted, I think maybe having some direction, read 136, then this, or even,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to read Attack on Titan.
I don't want to either. So I'm.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm more than happy with this part one.
I mean, I'll hype this up. This is good stuff. So we know they're gonna do ANR. You know, he basically sets it up. But the thing is, Eren, to make ANR work, right? He says, until all my enemies are destroyed. He has to sacrifice his friends.
Right.
This Eren can't be too hard that he, can easily, fight Armin, or easily fight Mikasa, or easily fight his friends, or easily give them up. Because the whole point of ANR is that he suffers the rest of his life afterwards. That's going to be set up. Right now, we have the Founder Eyes Eren, so he's, super omnipotent almost. So I'm hoping...
Could that be because he's here? And so he's...
But I mean, he's already seen the future, so it's because the thing is, we're going to remember the powers, right? And we don't know what they're going to do, because if the Titan powers leave or don't, I think you can do both in ANR, but I think more often than not, they disappear, just because that's the only way to get actual freedom for the next, is for Titan powers to go away. My question is, how do we keep Eren still human and sympathetic enough to be emotionally invested? Because if he now becomes this super heartless thing, then it's it kind of makes me want not. The reason I am a Jaegerist, the pro Eren, is because it was the only choice he could make to think. It was basically they all died,
right.
and Isayama showed us with the extra chapter, the extra pages of volume, the Paradise gets killed. So maybe Eren was right. The Eren we thought we knew from the beginning, before he got, in my opinion, got retconned. That Eren was right, and that's why we were emotionally invested in it. Because who would not go out of their way to try to save their friends and their people at the expense of the rest of the world, right? It's not a numbers game. It's, what's more important to you kind of game.
Yeah.
So how do we...
I've always seen this older Eren as walking a very fine line of this is who he's grown to be because of everything he's seen, while simultaneously bluffing about this facade that he keeps up. And I don't like the word facade, because that means that, he isn't really who he's grown into be, but more of just a putting up an act for as long as he can until he knows he can break down at the end, is what I'm thinking could be built into with this.
Okay. Let me tell you, I need my man to make hard choices. I need to see the hurt in his eyes.
Right.
And the thing is, right now, we're still getting, super... And the thing is, we still don't get the POV of Eren. And we do have Eren, giving exposition to younger Eren, it's still not necessarily Eren POV chapter.
Right.
We're not getting his inside thoughts, his actual feelings.
It's not necessarily an active chapter. It's
like I said, it's super exposition. So it's like, let me tell you, by the end of the manga, and for whatever reasons, I was only emotionally invested in Eren, and being emotionally invested in a character that doesn't have a point of view. Well, you can see why I was extremely disappointed with how everything ended up being. Because by the end,
right,
I'm just emotionally invested in nothing, and then it just I just was a wasted journey. So I think this is a good alley-oop. I want a true Eren point of view, and I don't want it. And honestly, maybe I can't be pleased at all anymore. Maybe Attack on Titan.
Maybe the bill's too high. Yeah.
Dude, it was just set up. It's like Game of Thrones. And I doubt there's anything that can be written. Like, George R. R. Martin writes towards the same plot points that happened in the HBO series.
Has to. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be satisfied, even with the super, intrinsic explanation that makes more sense. Like Danny going crazy, John ending up back over the wall, Bran. I don't know if I'll be satisfied with those plot points.
And maybe he's taken so long because he's spent 2 years trying to...
Do you think HBO's like, you better not change your story?
Yeah, new plot points. But to wrap it up, I agree with you. One of the reasons that this A&R is so convincingly better than what we've been given so far is the actual true suffering that we see Eren go through. Not crying over Mikasa because he doesn't want her to move on. Not knowing why he did what he did or pretending that fate was involved, but he makes a choice, and that choice has him sacrificing his friends who he's grown up with, and we as humans understand why he does it, because he has something to say.
And that keeps us emotionally invested in him, because he acted... Most people are like, oh no, I wouldn't sacrifice him. No. Everyone says everything tries to be morally, strong, above everybody else, but Attack on Titan did a good job of presenting really tough choices that essentially does not make the choice simply based on what's more moral, but, puts a lot of different factors, with Zeke's ideology. It's funny, I didn't make any videos because I was on vacation. Eren's ultimate plan in the actual canon thing ended up being the worst version of Zeke's. Zeke's plan, remove everybody's ability to reproduce and then peacefully age out, and poof, Eldians are gone, there's no more people born to suffer, the rest of humanity goes on, the Titan thing on Eren's, kill 80% of humanity, let his friends live until their natural death, and then paradise is completely destroyed. So 80% of humanity in paradise destroyed. When they would have gotten everything Eren would have gotten would have happened exactly the same other thing. And we got the sequel bait too, with the kid finding the tree, the Titan tree, right. Dude. So it's dumb. This is going to be better no matter what. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said, I think it's a good setup chapter. I don't know how I feel about it until I absorb the whole thing, maybe read a few chapters beforehand.
Sure.
I didn't like so much exposition. I still didn't feel like I don't think I reconnected with Eren after this chapter.
But that is a tall order.
It is a tall order. I don't think he can fulfill it. Like I told you, I have become unemotionally invested from the story. So it's hard, but I think the art was amazing.
Yeah.
I think the lines were cool. I think everything was super cool. And I'm excited. I want to see the whole thing animated.
I'm impressed.
Written out. I want to read it all, beginning to end. Because remember, it's not the full story, and then right. So now we only got a part of it.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. So let's answer the 3 things I said in the beginning. Why should you? If you made it 24 minutes in one answer, that's like why should you? Because it's fun. If you want to read this, other than the thing, it's because it's fun. Did I like it? I think I did. I like it better than the ending at the very least. I'll tell you that.
Which means it was successful.
It was successful. It's automatically better. And I am looking forward to part 2 and the ending on the next parts. And number 3, do I think it's objectively better? Yeah. I mean, come
Absolutely.
on. Let me tell you, I am of the belief that Isayama took, for his ending, saw what everybody thought the endings were going to be, went down a checklist and did the opposite of whatever everybody predicted, Then he saw the reaction to the ending. And then for the extra pages, he went down the checklist again of everybody who still liked it and tried to make sure they didn't like it either.
Just what a time to be alive.
I mean, we'll be there, right? Reading Shingeki no Kyojin starring Baron, right?
Will I be?
Will you be with Baron?
I think...
We gotta find out how the Titans are destroyed this time for realsies.
Oh.
Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys. I will be back to uploading regularly soon. My vacation, alas, was not long enough, but I have been missing. So, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Sorry for the audio quality if it isn't up to snuff like normal. And I'll see you next video. Say bye.
Bye.